That's always a very big plus. Tony, you can keep any of those extra cards and pass them out. There you go.
Thank you.
My name is Marianne, and I am senior tutor, and it is my job to make sure that senior citizens know that there's somebody out there who isn't going to judge them, who isn't going to laugh that they don't know how to open a smartphone and check their email or be able to get there. So I came to you in story mode today, and I want to tell you about a couple that hired me recently to help them set up their smartphones. Well, little did I know when I got there, they also wanted to know how to work their computer and their iPad and all this different stuff. Well, I can multi-teach and I can multitask, but it's really hard for people to multi-learn at the same time. So I started out by simply focusing with them on their smartphones first, because they had gotten phones. The company that they got them from was of no help to them. They sat on the phone with them for an hour and a half, hung up, and they still weren't any farther than when they started. So when I got there, they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Well, do you have a Gmail account? Because it was an Android phone. Yeah, but they didn't tell us we needed that for our phones. Yeah, you do. So we started learning, and I found out that these people were one time stewardesses on airlines. So they travel a lot. So I started building their lesson around the fact that they travel a lot, but every time I start with somebody, I say, what do you want to learn from whatever it is we're learning, whether it be an iPad or a computer or a phone? What do you want to learn out of this lesson? And I have them make a list and prioritize stuff. So I asked the gentleman, I said, what do you want to learn? He said, oh, I just want to learn how to make a phone call. I looked at him point blank and I said, well, then why did you buy a smartphone? Right? I mean, really, what? Keep your flip phone if you're just going to make phone calls and that's all you ever want to do. But if you want to learn how to do other things, then be open-minded to what your circumstances are. So the wife goes, no, 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 if we're going to pay you to come in and teach us this, then we want to learn more than that. We literally sat there over the course of 2 hours, and we started out with phone calls. And the man was, okay, I can make this. And we learned how to put it in his contacts. He was thrilled about that. Okay, so he's practicing that. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I want to text my son. Okay, we can do that. So we moved on to texting. He texts his son, and the greatest look I've ever seen on anyone's face was when he gets an answer from his son all of a sudden going, Dad, is that you? I don't know who else he thought it was, but it was him. So he gets this text back, and he's like, okay, well, I want to send a picture to my son. Cool. All right, this man's getting really excited about a smartphone all of a sudden. So we move on to how to take a picture and how to zoom in using this camera, and then how to attach it to emails and how to attach it to texting and stuff like that. Well, then it dawned on me that this gentleman and his wife were stewardesses and they traveled a lot. And I said, well, how much do you travel around the city? Yeah, we go out a lot. And I said, well, how much times do you wish that you could go somewhere and maybe you just can't remember where you're going? Or you can't remember where that's located? Yeah, it's getting a little more frequently. I had a feeling. So we turned around and we taught the man how, on his smartphone, to use GPS, how to use open Google Maps and be able to put in where they're going, or simply program his phone to say home and get him back home. So if his wife is out and about and she gets lost, all she has to do is tell it to go home and she finds her way back. So imagine other senior citizens, maybe that have a little bit of dementia or Alzheimer's. They want that freedom to be able to go out and do things and enjoy themselves and not have to worry that they can't find where they're going or simply how to get back home. We see on the news all the time these people that say, you know, oh, so-and-so is missing and we can't find them, and there's an adult senior citizen alert out for them. They put whatever, is it silver alert? The one, you know, like the amber alert. So, you know, they're out. Maybe if they had on their phone how to get back home, they wouldn't have ended up in Indiana instead of Centerville. Just saying. So my job is to simply go in and teach senior citizens how to be comfortable with what they have and realize that if they turn on their smartphone or their iPad and they push a wrong button, that it's not going to explode, the world's not going to end, and no one's going to come to their aid and laugh that they screwed it up. I started out because my mom is 80 years old this year, and when my daughter, who is 17 this year, was a baby, my mom wanted pictures. Well, you know, back then I wasn't working, I was home with my daughter, I was broke all the time, and I refused to print out pictures to send to my mom. And I was like, I'm going to email them to you, and I gave her one of my old computers. She wouldn't touch it. She was so scared she was going to mess it up. And I said, Mom, the worst that happens is one of us flies to Florida, gosh darn, like in February, when it's cold and nasty up here, and fixes your computer. You know, we reformat it, or we tell you what to do over the phone or over Skype on how to fix it. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to print out pictures. I'm going to email them to you. And if you want to see pictures of your granddaughter grow up, I suggest you learn how to check your email. My mom said, that's blackmail. You're darn right. Well, my mom now has an iPad. Well, she has a tablet, she has a laptop, she has her desktop, she has a smartphone. She calls me once a week asking me questions. We're cool. So she learned how to use it long distance starting at the age of, I don't know, 80 minus 17, so 63 years old, right? Any age can do it. I have clients that are as old as 93 years old. I literally flipped out. I saw this man at the Latham Center at a class I was teaching. On the thing it said, yep, it had his age, 93. And I went, this is wrong, right? He went, no, I'm 93. And I went, oh my goodness. This man emailed me questions for a class that I taught at Bethany Village that had questions I had to Google. That's how advanced this 93-year-old man was in computers. But he still had more questions. I've had customers as young as 50 that have questions. So no age is too young or too old to reach out to these people. I tell people that my generation, we kind of walked into this. You know, we started, you know, Tony bless his heart. In 1980, I was 10 years old, so I just gave away my age, right? I am 45 years old this year, and in 1980, 83 or so, I took a class, and my generation walked into this, right? My daughter's generation, you know, my daughter was on my lap learning about computers when I was an HP rep, you know, starting from, you know, day 2 just about, you know. So my daughter's generation, they kind of like, you know, ran into technology. My generation, well, we kind of walked, and starting at age 50, 60, 70, those generations kind of crawled into it, you know. And we expect people to check their doctors' prognoses and their insurance and their prescriptions and Facebook and like these different businesses and stuff all online these days. We're saying, go to Facebook, like us. And they're saying, how? I don't know how to even open up a Facebook account. I don't have that. Or, you know, we're saying, hey, your doctor is saying, hey, we're going to take your picture so you can access your account online. And the people are like, I don't get it. What are you talking about? So it really is our responsibility to reach out to the seniors and be able to say, hey, let me teach you how to do this. Let me teach you how to access your medical information, if nothing else, you know. How to do some of maybe your banking online, because in Ohio, face it, it's snowy and icy in February and January. I don't want, if my grandmother was still alive, I wouldn't want her going out when it's icy just to go deposit a check, you know, or how to access their bank because they do have direct deposit. Any of that stuff. How to shop on Amazon instead of having to go out and deal with that type of stuff. So, like I said, it's our responsibility to reach out to them, teach them, love them, and hopefully get them to enjoy what they do online and keep them safe while doing it.